Hey guys, it's Chris again. Chris M. Manley, used to be Christo in a previous life. Still am, but that was an old account that I had with Facebook till they kicked me off. Anyways, most of you who will be watching this probably know me. Actually, take that back. Maybe this thing will go viral. Who knows? But what I want to talk about today is our abilities, our powers. And I guess I'll start with saying that the word occult has been demonized, quote unquote, mostly by religion and people who come from religion, which I did. I grew up Italian Catholic. And the word occult always meant something bad, something to not be involved with, so to speak. And once you realize that the meaning of occult is just, let's look it up. Occult, the definition of occult is to shut off from view or exposure. Let's see if there's any more. Not revealed. Not easily apprehended or understood. Hidden from view. Not manifest or detectable by clinical methods alone. Not present. Basically it means, now let's read this here. Definition of occult. Matters regarded as involving the action or influence of supernatural or supernormal powers, or some secret knowledge of them. Okay, so don't need that anymore. So here's my question. Please tell me in the comments below what is wrong, what is bad about occult knowledge or occult wisdom. Because if you're here, you probably also know or have the sense that we've been lied to. And maybe you're not to the extent that I am, to where I believe we've been lied to about everything. Everything. There's a little bit of truth that has to be sprinkled in, but for the most part, it's just straight up lies. And it's even ridiculous lies. And I'm not going to get into all those lies today. I'm sticking with the subject of the occult and our powers. So occult knowledge, it's hidden. Couple questions. Who's hiding it? Why are they hiding it? I think these are good questions. And what we are beginning to find out, I should have had this all up when I started this here, but what we're starting to find out is that there are people around the world who have some of these abilities right now, who can do some crazy things. And we think that it's just the person, you know, there's some oddity. They just were born that way, that they could do that. But what you start to find out is that we all have these abilities inherent within us. We just have not explored them for many reasons. We've been kept from these things by distractions from day one. We've been drugged up with food from day one. We've had some of our abilities taken from us from day one, and I'm going to name one of them right now. The ability to be underwater. Now, I can't prove this. Well, we can be underwater. Let me be more specific. The ability to live underwater, to breathe. Not in the same way you'd breathe the air, but to breathe, to get the elements you need while you are underwater. You did so as a baby. You were in water for 9 months. What changed? Did you lose some parts when you came out of the womb? Was it the placenta that allowed you to be under the water? And if that's the case, what was the placenta attached to? It was attached to your quote-unquote belly button, your gut. So what was happening while you were underwater? How were you living underwater like a fish? Because no matter what lying science tells you, and this is how they've covered some of this up, They act like you were some kind of a fish as a baby, which is total bullshit. You were what you are now from the start. You just were forming the parts, but you are the same. So what were you doing in that water all that time? And especially, let's talk about the late part of that pregnancy of your mother's, where you were a fully formed baby with a nose, mouth, eyes, the whole thing. What were you breathing in? What was going into your lungs? Did you have water in your lungs? I don't know the answers to any of this stuff. All I know is this is one of the things that's been hidden from us, and this is easily discussed because it's something that nobody thinks about. Nobody thinks about this, except for crazy people. Crazy in the eyes of current society. But think about it. You didn't lose parts, but there you go. There you are. We had some kind of ability then that has gone dormant since you were born. And when you were born, they made sure to make it as traumatic as possible. I mean, it's like a horror film when you're coming out. Like, what the hell's going on? It's violent. It's invasive, just like everything that this whole world, everything they do is unnatural, goes against nature. So that's another podcast. I'm not going to get into that right now. But basically, you come out, it's a horror show. Many of us were circumcised. I was one of them. They call it circumcised. It sounds so gentle. Just a little circumcision. Circumcision. It's not going to hurt. Really? You know what? I can still remember. I actually can still feel some of that pain to this day. That was torture. That was heinous torture that was done to me. And millions of others, billions of others, billions. So, anyways, of course, you go through all that trauma, you're going to forget what happened before that, most likely. But it's down there, it's in there. And you didn't lose your parts. You still have the same parts that you did as a 8-month-old baby in the womb. Also, why is it when you're born that you're not counted as being 9 months old? That doesn't count towards your life? Just the part where you're outside the womb? The part that you were in the womb didn't matter? Screw these guys, man. Screw their construct. And the years, I won't even get into that, the Gregorian calendar. So let's get back on topic. I will get myself... But this is why it's good when I'm doing a podcast with Mark or with somebody else, because I tend to go off on tangents. There's a million things. There's just so many things that are interrelated and that I've studied and experienced that I want to tell them all in one podcast. And this podcast is going to be way too long if I do that. So let's see how long it is so far. It looks like I'm up to 8.5 minutes. Okay, so let's get off of this. Oh yeah, I was about to look up, okay, the man that can harness energy. Let's see what we have here. Nope. Let's go to images. I'll find it. They hiding? Even duck. Harness the power of chi. This guy's not the only one, but there's a video going around on Instagram and Facebook, one that I posted, where a guy heals using electricity that runs through his body. People couldn't even touch him because he was shocking them with the electricity. I want to find it, so actually, you know what? Let's see here. Man that can light paper on fire. I'm sure it'll be under something like that. There we go. Just found it. Okay. So I'm going to watch this thing. We're going to watch this thing real quick. Not the whole thing. It's 10 minutes long.
Him in the early 80s in a Chinatown of urban Java. He didn't want his real name or address revealed, so we called him DJ for Dynamo Jack. He was only a healer, he said, but he did direct a powerful energy generated from his own body into his patients. Sometimes he used the needles, sometimes just his hands. He called the energy chi, and it was so strong that he usually needed a grounder to hold his patient's feet. For years we followed him around Java on his healing rounds, pleading to be allowed to film him, but he always refused, saying his powers resulted from a type of meditation with an ancient tradition of secrecy. It was only when my brother Lorne was suffering from a serious eye infection that he finally allowed us to film him in 1987.
It was nothing like any acupuncture I'd ever had. I was getting really powerful electric shocks and couldn't control my movements at all.
Yin yang, positive and negative, you know. And my positive from here and my negative from here. And we meet together, this can get like electricity.
And is this because you're special? You have a special sort of
It's for meditation every day.
It's meditation.
Meditation every day. Like you can touch me, like this. It's nothing, okay? It's my burn. It's like this.
For our sound recordist, it was also a shocker.
He controls the electricity.
He then took our newspaper outside and showed us how chi can also be used to set things on fire. When he heard we'd shown this footage in public, he was very upset and refused all our future efforts to contact him again.
Wow.
As the years passed, we sadly resigned ourselves to never seeing him again. My brother Lorne never did, for by 1997 he was already dead, when I again found myself with DJ, now treating me for an eye problem.
Okay, gonna stop it there. I mainly wanted to display what this guy was doing. It's not a matter of being able to set paper on fire or really the main thing that I'm trying to get at here is that we can affect the material world around us with our abilities. And I think that if you're somebody who wants to harm other people when you're using these abilities, I think that you are stifled. I don't think that the universe, I know the universe does not support you. But if your efforts are out of love, or even out of self, even out of protection of yourself, I believe you are supported. And I'm going to go over some other stuff here, but I'm just going to tell you right now. I believe, I trust, I resonate with, I sense that we are capable of doing unbelievable things with our bodies. I'll give you another example. Everybody knows, I bet, you know, this could be totally bullshit, okay? But I don't think so. So, supposedly a frail, you know, not a weightlifting person at all, but just a mother saves her kid. I've heard this since I was a kid. Saves her kid from being pinned under a car and dying by lifting the car off of him. And I know that when I was told about this, this was back in the 70s, I think, or 80s. And cars were not small. I mean, they were smallish, but they were heavy. Heavy, heavy, heavy. So this lady had to lift some serious weight to lift that car off her kid. And then that would get me to question, okay, she was not a weightlifter probably. I mean, she's a mom. Maybe she lifted some weights. But back then, women weren't really into lifting like they are now. So most women were, you know, they had a normal frame, a smaller kind of a frame. And regardless, she lifted this car off of her kid. How did her muscles support the pulling power? How did her bone structure not break I mean, we're cells, right? We're all cells. We've got blood, bone, skin, cartilage. All of them have different densities. All of them have molecules that move at different speeds. And supposedly, and I don't even know if this is true, but the speed of movement of these molecules determines the hardness of our matter inside of our body. So that's a reality. So what does the body do, say when you're in that fight or flight situation and you've got to do something and you know you'll move the damn earth to make it happen. You know it. I think at that moment in time, you're getting a glimpse of your real power, and your body makes it happen. Because your body can instantly change anything within it. What's so hard about speeding up or slowing down molecules in your body? Do you think that's a big deal for your mind to do, to handle? The computer that handles everything, that self-heals, that determines the exact amount of every different thing that needs to go every different little place in your body, that needs to go to every one of your 50 to 70 trillion cells at a split second in time and knows exactly when to do it and exactly how much. That system that they still don't understand, that's animated by who knows what. Science still cannot create life. Don't get too enamored with this artificial intelligence and this we can clone sheep and we can clone people. You know what? They're not cloning people. They're cloning, I don't know what they're cloning, but they cannot create life. That's the thing. They cannot create a soul. They cannot create individuality. They can't create life. They still can't create it. It's not explained. Even by cellular biology, they still don't understand it. And I say understand on purpose because they are under the standing of true knowledge. That said, we can all understand our true potential. That's why I started that website, ourhighestpotential.com. Needs some work. I'm adding to it. I'm doing stuff. I've got someone working on it right now, actually, to make it more functional. But it's a good site. It is a good site. It's going to get better, is what I'm saying. I created that site because I want people to know that we are capable of much more than what we're told. And I'll give you another example. And I probably just cut off what I was saying before, that the body could do anything, that it can affect the molecules in the body, the cells, manipulate them to do whatever. Your bones are super hard. Your muscles can tense up super hard, man. Who knows? Maybe it can become hard as steel. How do we know? I'm not going to doubt anything. I know this. I do know this. The powers that were, you're making a big mistake if you are afraid in any way of what these clowns tell you they can do. And they're telling you what they can do. They're telling you in very subtle ways. They're telling you through videos, and I know I'm going off subject again, but I'm just going to talk. They tell you in videos. They tell you in projected events. Who gives a shit what they're telling you is going to show up at the end of the year? I keep hearing about this event. I heard about it last year. Didn't happen. Hearing about it this year. Not going to happen. At least not in the way it's described. Fear, dude. It wrecks you. It wrecks you. In one way, it turns you acidic. The pH in your body is acidic. And don't tell me you're not afraid. If you're sitting around looking into artificial intelligence and you think they have all this stuff that they can control you with and they're going to force vaccines, that's all fear, man. Are they forcing a vaccine on you right freaking now? No, they're not. So what are you worried about? What are you worried about right now? Walk outside. What's outside? Birds chirping. The weather's doing its thing. Everything's doing what it usually does, all normal. Just you. You're the one that's different because you choose to latch on to fear or to look ahead to some bullshit event or thing or whatever that they say is going to happen. You know why some of this is going to happen to you, not to me, because I don't buy into their bullshit. The reason it's going to happen to you is because you're manifesting it right freaking now. You and all the other thousands or millions of people that are believing this BS, you are going to manifest it. I'm saying this out of love. Anybody who's listening. You know, people will say I sound angry. I'm not angry. I'm just passionate. I'm sick of seeing this fear latch on. And this is why I'm talking about what I'm talking about right now. The kingdom of God is within. We are gods. Gods do not fear. There is nothing to fear. In fact, in the realm that really matters, the spiritual realm, people that are low vibing down here on earth and trying to hurt you, you think, or trying to do whatever they're doing, and I know they're doing bad things. It's no joke. They're nothing in the spiritual realm. They are nothing. In that realm, you have the power. They're down in the gutter, peeking up at you like that clown from It, peering out of the gutter, looking up. Up. They're looking up to you, the luminary, the illuminated one, the Illuminati. We are the Illuminati. We have the power. They have nothing. So with that said, I'm going to move on here. So we've got these strengths and powers, I believe, and I'll tell you one of them that's in the comic books right now. And I don't know the character because I've never been into comics. Never been into it. But that's where they are hiding much of the truth of what we are actually capable of. I know this. Here's one of the powers. I don't know the name. If you guys, somebody wants to comment below the video, maybe let me know who this is if you would. There's some character, comic book character, and I was told about it at an Acapulco in 2019, February, I believe it was. I had a guy, I was standing there, there's, I don't know, like 10 or 15 people, and I was talking, people knew me, talking about not eating, not drinking, all this stuff, and this guy walks up and told me, he says, man, it's really interesting, but there's this character, and I don't remember who it was. Maybe he was talking about Superman and somebody who is in that storyline. But this character lived off the sun and the air. In the comic book. So when I go to talk to somebody about living on the sun and the air, guess what they're going to say? They're going to think in their head, that's in the comic books. Doesn't sound too realistic. Of course, karma dictates that these low-vibing entities have to share the truth with us, you guys. But instead of being in a school book or a text, they stick it in a comic book because they think you're a clown. And we are. We have been. And they hide these abilities there. We have them, but they hide them in the comic books, so we laugh at them. And when you tell other people, even if you experience it directly for yourself, even your own family is going to call you a nut job. But there it is, hidden. So I'll get to it here. I want to read, there's a site called Fandom, and they talk about the comic book characters and what their abilities are. And the thing about comic strips is most of these abilities are in terms of fighting. And we know how this world goes. They want you to think all about violence and fighting, and that's the solution. All the movies, man, all of the heroes, what do they have? They got a gun in their hand. Because they're such a hero. They're going to go shoot people. They're so smart, these guys. They're so smart. You know what? That's not always the answer. You know what? That can be the answer. I'm just going to say right now. These guys that are doing some really heinous stuff to kids, They don't deserve to be here in this physical realm. Their body does not need to be attached to their disgusting spirit. I'm just going to say that. But this is what is given to us as a hero. The person carrying the gun. Go out, shoot him, mow him down. Oh, he's the hero. How about the guy that goes and disarms people with the power of love? I mean, that's real. That's real, but we're not shown that, so we laugh at it when people talk about it, and we think they're gay and weak and wussies and all this stuff. So, anyways, superheroes, that's what this all is. It's all related to fighting. However, there's some very interesting abilities that they list in here. But before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and play this clip from this site showing some of the powers that they talk about. I think it's top 5 or something like that. So, let's go.
From comic books to movie sagas, fiction presents us with all sorts of heroes and villains with awesome powers. In the midst of this multiverse full of special abilities, here are the coolest superpowers in all of pop culture. Number 5. Healing. Healing powers bring people back to optimal health, usually after being injured or afflicted with disease. In some cases, people with this power can only self-heal or self-regenerate. But there are exceptional people who can use healing powers to help others. Number 4. Telekinesis. People with telekinetic abilities can use their mind to control matter however they want. From rendering others motionless to levitation and more, the applications are almost endless, for good and for evil.
Did you guys see that? I'm gonna back that up. This here, this is the kind of stuff that I really feel we are able to do. I feel that first I want to throw this out there for people that have not heard me talk about this. We are 50 to 70 trillion cells. We're made up of those. Each one of and we are energy. We are made up of energy. That's how the heart beats, right? Electrical power. That's how they read things in your body. That's how they can tell if you're flowing, if things are connected. The electrical circuit. This is what's tested. So we have electricity in our bodies, and each one of our 50 plus trillion cells are capable of harnessing 1.4 volts of power. Now, I'm not an electrician, so I don't know how that works out in terms of watts and amperage and all that other stuff. I really don't. But 50 trillion volts, 70 trillion plus volts of electricity has to count for something. And they're independent. And here's the key, because somebody brought up how you link them all together. Like if I link 3 6-volt batteries together, no, forget the 6 volt. I'm going to talk 12 volt because I really don't know 6 volt. But let's just say 12 volt. If I link those batteries together, then I'm still going to have 12 volts of electricity. However, I have a bigger reservoir of 12 volts. I have more. It's going to last longer. That current's going to last longer with the extra batteries. So I don't know how it works with the body, but I'm going to say this. Those batteries are not independent of themselves. They're then tied in together. But in our body, this is what cellular biology teaches, that each one of our cells are an individual universe. They're on their own. So I almost feel like you could add that voltage up and have high voltage. And when you have high voltage, you're harnessing high voltage. There's things like HAARP that use less electricity than what your body can harness. Think about that. HAARP, weather modification, putting megawatts of power into the atmosphere and controlling weather systems, enhancing them, breaking up cloud formations. I've done some study on this. This is what electricity can do. So what can the electricity that you have in your body do if you can harness and channel? Look at this dude's eyes, man. It's a movie, whatever. But just saying, when you can harness that electricity, what can you do with it? I think if you're trying to do bad things, I don't think you're going to do much. But I think if you're trying to do good, the universe is on your side. So anyways, let's watch this one more time.
However they want. From rendering others motionless to levitation and more, the applications are almost endless, for good and for evil. Number 3. Elemental manipulation. Power usually involves the manipulation of the four basic elements: earth, water, air, and fire. Users with great masteries can go beyond manipulating these elements to even creating new ones, using a combination of the four basic elements. Number 2. Life force manipulation. Users can create, shape, and manipulate the fundamental force that allows life to exist, grow, and flourish throughout the whole universe. They can also control their own personal life force that dwells within them to achieve untold power and great abilities. Number 1. Time manipulation. Time is everything. If you can manipulate time, you can manipulate the universe. The basics involve accelerating, slowing, stopping, or even changing time. Manipulating the space-time continuum is the single greatest power, which makes it the best superpower in the universe. For more superpowers, check out the Superpower Wiki.
Okay, so basically what you just saw was from movies. So I don't take movies and say, hey, I saw that in a movie. It's true. Of course, it's a comic strip. However, how far off the mark is that stuff? I think that most of what they just showed is actually possible. I don't care if I sound crazy. I think that the powers that were are deathly afraid of us waking up to this. That's why they hid ancient texts. Why do you think they hide that from you? They haven't hidden all of it because some people have written about it. Some people who've had access to these texts have written about it. Hilton Hotema is one of them. And I just mentioned the ability to live off the sun and the air. That's seen as like a joke. Like, no, you can't do that. You have to eat food. I already know that we don't need food or drinks because our bodies get what they need from the air. It's just that we get addicted and the body gets used to that, the stimulation, and we're just in a degenerative state and we're not able to live that way. But we can turn that around, clean ourselves up. And I'm not saying you're going to be flying through the air like Superman. What I'm telling you is that we have abilities that have been hidden from us, and they are called occult knowledge. Occult. Hidden from us. Again, why is it hidden, and what is it? We're taught that it's demonic, it's satanic. So when I hear somebody say, oh, the occult, and I hear some of these, I don't watch these videos anymore, but I'd hear these guys talking about what's going on in the world and we have the power, blah, blah, blah. But then they start talking about the occult like it's a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. You see, when witches were being burned at the stake, witches. Now look at how Halloween treats witches. Makes them look ugly, green faces, warts, all that stuff. When in reality they were the people that were closest in tune with nature. They were meditating. They were able to do a lot, and they were dangerous to those in quote-unquote power. And they're only in power because they control your mind, my friends. They're not in power because they can control bodies. They're in power because they can control minds. They are masters at it. But we are gods. So we have to break that. We have to break that ability of theirs to control us. And that includes controlling us through fear. So that's their greatest power. Controlling people. They're good at it. So basically, once I realized that we didn't need food or water anymore, that just opened the doors to anything to me. They've hidden everything. So don't believe in the talk about the occult being bad. It's not about worshiping Satan. That's the dumb religious version. Religion's working on it too, by the way. I don't care what religion. Christianity is a religion too. All of it. If you are believing this stuff, you are controlled. They're going to make sure that you're afraid to delve in. Even Hollywood, you think they worship Satan, or you think they're like some rebellious entity? They're all a part of the control. They make horror films to make you think that going into the spirit world is scary, that it's just filled with demons. That's bullshit. It's filled with whatever you attract. That's what it's filled with. If you're love and power, that's what you're going to attract. And you're going to gain love and power. Your highest self, God, the kingdom of God is within. In the Bible, the kingdom of God is within. So here's some powers that they list here. Power augmentation, self-power, power bestowal, power negation, power erasure, replication, absorption, detection, randomization, powers via object, affinity aversion, superpower manipulation. Here's some physical powers. Regenerative healing. Okay, I'm going to talk about this one real quick. Regenerative healing. We do regenerate and heal. But because we are loaded down with food, it's a slow process. What happens when you're completely clean? You heal a lot faster. And I'm not saying you're standing there looking at it and it's healing like in the movies. But get this. Cells, and this has been proven in a petri dish, our cells completely replicate within 24 hours. So your body, if it wasn't loaded down, theoretically, those cells, if they're untouched and not messed with, they can regenerate themselves in a day. And that's all of your cells. Your bones are made up of cells. Your brain is made up of cells. Your skin, your muscles, your blood, your cartilage, your eyes, all cells, all energy. It's unbelievable what we are, you guys. It's unbelievable what we are. We are truly amazing, amazing things. And this is not what you hear in school. They do not make a big deal out of this, but we are unbelievably made. And something had to make it, okay? I'm not getting religious. I'm not religious, but I'm not stupid. I can see there's information. I can see there's a form. I can see things had to be the way they were, exactly the way they were for them to function from day one. They couldn't start out being some dumbed down version of us and, you know, cavemen, whatever, and all of a sudden we're smart. And it's gone the opposite way, actually. But I mean, as far as our bodies go, they're not just going to happen with nothing manipulating it. Maybe it's our minds. Maybe it's the collective. I don't know. All I know is there's creation happening because it is created and it's still not understood. So regenerative healing, we already have that. Adoptive muscle memory, we have it. But they're talking about something that happens quick, I believe, with a lot of this. But I think this stuff can happen quick with us. In fact, I know it can. And this gets down to meditation and control of our own bodies. More control of our own bodies, which we can do. I mean, I already started in different ways to be able to control the body. I'll just give you one example. This is very basic, but I used to, like once I started peeing, I had to just pee. I couldn't stop the pee. And now I can fully control it, drip by drip if I wanted to. I mean, that's just my mind controlling those muscles and making it happen that way. There's lots of things. That's just a minor example, but we can control all these things. So I don't want to bore anybody here, but if you ever want to go to this site, check it out. Fandom, list of superpowers and abilities. I'm going to read some more. Deflection, replication, invisibility. All of this just involves our cells, guys. It involves our cells. And our cells can be controlled. And are controlled. Wall crawling, invulnerability, mobile invulnerability, needle projection, immobility, camouflage, bone manipulation, self-detonation, jet propulsion. See, this is all in relation to fighting. That's why I'm not all of it is, but a lot of it is, you know, based on that. So, but basically these powers that have to throw the truth out there because of karma. So they conveniently stick it in the comic books and they put it in magazines like The Star and The Globe. I don't even know if these things exist anymore, but they used to. when I was a kid, and they'd be on the shelves as you exit the store, and they'd always talk about some freakish oddity or a person that can bend spoons with their mind. How come we don't see that anymore? People do this. They've bent things, they've moved things with their mind, you guys. How? I mean, this has been documented. This is real. I'm talking about real stuff. You know what? Let's look it up. Bend spoon with mind. Okay, has YouTube scrubbed? How long is this guy here? Oh man, hour long? Come on. Okay, let's hear what this guy has to say. 2 minutes. I think we can handle that.
I'm melting my finger into the metal. Yes, yes, yes. Can feel it's happening. Happening. Okay. That's my fingerprint. Can you do that? Hi, I'm Uri Geller. I'm about to teach you something quite extraordinary, amazing. Spoon bending. Are you ready? Let's do it. Open up your mind. Do not be skeptical. Believe in yourself. Be positive. First of all, find a comfortable place around you, anywhere. But most important, pick up a metal spoon. Here it is. Hold the spoon gently with your thumb, exactly the way you see it, and your forefinger. Begin to rub it ever so gently. And believe that very soon it's going to start melting. Totally believe. Yeah, it's going. I can feel it now. The spoon, if you notice, is becoming soft, almost like plastic. Let me show it to the camera. Very steady. Look at it. It's melting. It's bending. Is it happening to you? But look at this now. If I'm going to shake this spoon, it's going. Hey, there it is. It's gone.
Wow.
If something amazing happened to you, a phenomenon in your house while I was teaching you how to bend a spoon, please let us know at tweet@Kellogg's UK. Please do it now.
Kellogg's. Let's see what got going on. Okay. Anyways, what I was looking for is somebody bending a spoon. Some of this might be BS. Bending a spoon with your mind. Not by touching it, but what he did was pretty amazing. How to bend a spoon with your mind. Okay, let's watch this.
If you can turn your thoughts into actions, that is supreme alchemy. Here's Planet Asia and Talib Kweli talking about exactly that.
You have a low form of alchemy, which people think is, people call, the transferring of metals. The high form of alchemy is changing the subjective to the objective, bringing your thoughts into life. What we do in hip hop is a form of alchemy. Right. Biggie, I always tell people the song Juicy, that's an alchemist song. That's because Biggie didn't have none of that when he was writing those lyrics.
That's right. He spoke truth to power.
He spoke that into existence.
Manifestation. Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying? And that's what supreme alchemy is. And that's what, for those who want to get knowledge of self and come build with the gods, this is what we dealing with. We dealing with bringing things to life, not hallucinating and looking at stargazing.
Supreme alchemy exists. It's possible. In fact, I've seen it over and over again. We're born into a world that we don't feel like we can affect, but we can. Life can either be a movie that washes over us, or it could be something we actively participate in. I went to a spoon bending party once. It was called a PK party for psychokinesis. The entire idea was that you'd go with 50 or 100 other people into a big room. They hand out spoons, metal spoons, spoons that are kind of hard to bend. They instruct you very directly. Look at the spoon. State your intention. I'm going to bend the spoon. Bend.
Whoops. Sorry, guys. It's not what I meant to do. Just wanted to have it ready.
If you can turn your thought.
Okay, so spoon bending, while this is loading up, I have never seen it in person, but I think it's a minor thing. I think people can move and do all kinds.
State your intention. I'm going to bend the spoon. Bend, bend, bend. But then in between these moments, you would test the spoon. You would physically take the spoon in your hands. You would see if the spoon was ready to bend at that moment. And this would happen over and over again. You would stare at the spoon all together, 50, 100 people all together, shouting, bend, bend, bend. All the while, people were also testing the spoon with their hands. If you're wondering, yeah.
Okay, here's a little thought. So you got 50 to 100 people putting energy towards bending one spoon, right? Now think about this. Most of those people are likely not clean vessels, have not cleaned themselves out. Maybe they are good at meditation, I don't know. But I think that one person can do a lot more than just bend a spoon. I think, and I know we can. But anyways, I just wanted to note that.
Yes, I was able to bend the spoon because I used my hands. Bend. All the while, people were also testing the spoon with their hands. If you're wondering, yes, I was able to bend the spoon because I used my hands. That was kind of the point and or the funny joke of this whole party. Yes, they were going to teach you to bend a spoon with your mind, but what they didn't mention was that you use your hands too. And that is the lesson. The remarkable thing about a party like that is only half of the people on average really end up bending the spoon. And that mirrors what I see in society. A lot of people have the idea in their mind, I want to use my mind to bend the spoon. But when it comes time to actually do it, they think that there's magic. Unfortunately, there's no magic. There's only our hands. There's only the application of force.
Okay, this guy's wrong. I had a feeling. I should have found a good video before I started. Let's see what they say about psychokinesis. Real quick. Minute and a half.
야, 너 치킨집 그런 거 아빠가 다른 데다 차려줄게. 너 대학도 가고 공부도 해야지. 아빠가 좀 이상한 능력이 생겨서.
뭐 하시는 거예요?
이제 루미 아버지만 있으면은 걱정할 거 없는 거 아니에요?
당연하지.
초능력 아저씨, 진짜 능력을 가진 사람들은 처음부터 이기도록 태어난 사람들 거라고요.
루미야. 저도 껴주세요. 껴주세요.
So, anyways, enough of that. I'm going to wrap this up. But basically, this seems very out there, fanciful, whatever. I can't say that I can do any of this stuff or that you can, but I can say that this resonates. And the reason it resonates is because of what I know on a basic level about us and how our body can control everything, every one of our cells, and what what this control has done for people already, these these one-off things that people have been able to do, the mom lifting a car off of her kid, people bending spoons with their mind. I've seen that done without touching the spoon, by the way. And yeah, the movies are meant to hide this from us or make it a laughable thing that any person could actually do it. Psychokinesis, telekinesis, occult knowledge and wisdom. There's a reason billions upon billions of dollars are spent on propaganda, because the powers that were know that they need to control your mind and make you afraid. So they keep you busy watching their bullshit. People asking, what are they going to do? What are they going to do? Like a bunch of little kids. Like we're a bunch of little kids, man. Really? Do you believe that you have the kingdom of God within, like Jesus says, if you're a Christian? Do you believe that? If you're not, do you not believe that you are meant for more? If they're trying to control your mind at such great lengths, yet they supposedly can control you physically, then why do they spend this money trying to trick you? Why? There's a reason, because they know once you realize what you are uncontrollable by them. In fact, you're already uncontrollable once you decide that you are uncontrollable, because everything starts manifesting. So instead of spending time, wasting time, fear, everything else, clean up that temple, man, because that thing is an amazing, amazing thing, and we are meant for so much more. We were not left down here to deal with a bunch of psychos as a bunch of sheep. No insult to sheep. We were meant to be gods walking this earth. Untouchable gods that love, that create. There's no room for what's going on right now. And we can change it. We do have the power. Stop listening to them. Stop watching their bullshit. Start going within and start learning what you really are and what you really can do. I'm not going to read off any more of these. I was going to make some jokes about some of this stuff. One of them is stench generation. I was going to make a joke about that. It doesn't matter right now. There's just so much. And I might even do I will be doing more podcasts on this and focusing on certain things that we can start doing now. As I learn them, as I prove them, because I will never sit here and parrot and act like I've experienced it and start talking about something that somebody else told me and act like I know it now for my own. I'll never do that. So hopefully this was enlightening to you, and I appreciate you guys listening. And leave comments below if you have any. Empower yourself, guys. Don't worry about what they are going to do. Think about what you are going to do, because that, in the end, that is what matters. Because what you think is what you manifest. So if you think about what they're doing, then you're going to manifest what they want to do. But if you think about what you're doing, you're going to manifest what you want to do. Which one do you think is going to turn out better for you? Which one's going to make for a more peaceful world for you? That's what matters. You're powerful. Don't forget it. You are gods. You have no needs. You don't need the lies anymore. Focus on self. Empower. Until the next podcast, I think the next one's going to be Mark and I talking about some stuff. Thank you for your attention, and see you soon.